In the 90s, I was working as a court interpreter in the Mahkamah Magistrate Seremban. So I used to take this car to work, and then a friend of mine, a fellow colleague, an interpreter, his name is Azizi bin Nordin. So Azizi used to see me coming into the car, he look at me and say, Kumbang sudah sampai.
Petangis atau kemarin kau duduk termenung macam si majenin. Sebatang dua kritik dah pening, hati resah, tegak kering. Setitik peluk di dahi melambangkan.
What propelled me to actually start restoring this car or to rebuild this car was many incidents. One was because people started perceiving this car as a total scrap, as a metal scrap, and there were neighbors who used to pass by the house, and then they used to say, is this car on sale? Are you willing to sell this car maybe for dirt cheap, for 500, for 1,000, something like that? And I found those statements rather insulting. 15 September 1998. That was the day actually I brought the car back home. So I managed to buy the car for 7,500. But of course this was when I brought the car back home. But there are many incidents relating to the purchase of this car, which is my brother, of course. My brother was working in a factory environment, and he was on his way to work one day way back in the 90s. And as he was driving, he came across this Volkswagen Beetle. My brother just picked up the conversation and said, hey, there's a car on sale, a Volkswagen Beetle, red color looking, beautiful. So one part my father used to oppose the idea of me buying this car, and me being so adamant to buy this car, and I was on my way to work and I saw the car. Came back home and then spoke to my dad. Family had a discussion whether to buy or not to buy this car. And my brother was the person who really supported the idea. He fought for me. He fought with my dad. He always fought for me. And he said that, I should get this car. As you know, this car was actually parked outside the house. That was a bad decision to park the car outside the house and exposed to weather, our tropical weather. And basically, the whole body got rotten, and I had to do up the whole body, buy the new fenders, buy the new paint, whatever we could do, we had to rebuild the whole thing. 10,000 just went on the body work. It took me almost about 3 years, or maybe 3.5 years to do up this car. So the first phase was, I said, doing up the body part, and once I have done the body part, I had to shelf the project. It had to be halted for a while. It was because I started doing my master's degree, my master's program. I think you can ask any vintage car lover or anyone who really loves a car, who talks to the car like I do. I talk to this car very often. It is very sad to put the car at home and then to just, wrap the car up with your whatever stuff you have and then to keep it there. So friendship is all about having common ideas, having common possessions. So I had few friends who actually also was inspired to buy a Volkswagen, to own a Volkswagen, and so much so that we used to have our convoys and our yearly trips. Imagine 2 Volkswagens, 3 Volkswagens, all of us carefree days enjoying the road trip and having fun. So it became like a cult movement, in the 90s. Like if you say Seremban, the Volkswagen guys, they knew us by that. When you drive this Volkswagen Beetle, this old car, I come to think that this car makes people happy. I've never seen any other car making people happy. They get so excited looking at this car. It's like the hippie fraternity and community. They start waving at you and they honk the horn, and the kids will start running
waras yang berprinsip. Kalau situasi memaksa kita bersendiri, bersendirilah, jangan mengalah.
There were many things I started buying and purchasing to the WhatsApp group. The rims, if you see the car sport rims, those were they call it the pisang rims in Malaysia, and then the rear view lights, and then if you look at the interior, the upholstery, the steering, everything, every part of the car, I managed to get the original part. The dashboard of it, it's a 1973 dashboard. It comes with a proper dashboard, and the sound system, the car player, I managed to get a retro car player that represents the car better. The lighting of the car, I managed to change the entire wiring, and the entire electrical is all LED lights. So that's also very bright when you drive at night.
Bersendirilah, bersendirilah.
Kerajaan memutuskan untuk melaksanakan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan mulai 18 Mac 2020.
During the movement control order, when mechanics were out of job because many people were not traveling, I managed to get a mechanic who was staying close by the house, and when I contacted him, he managed to come up and took the car back, and then he started doing, and that's where I started rebuilding the car. So the rebuilding of the car started this year, somewhere in March. Basically, I think I have spent on the car right now close to about 45,000 to 50,000, easily to say. I think I'm quite satisfied with how it turned out to be. So for me, it's to maintain the car on as a daily runner, to make sure that it runs well.
Masih ramai yang lena, buta pada helah mereka.
Over the years, having seen Mandip's love affair with this car, I would say that Mandip probably saw this car as his alter ego. So he actually reflected upon himself by looking at this car. And the continuous need that he had, the persistence that he had to improve and to upgrade this car also reflected upon him, how he saw himself and how he wanted to grow and how he wanted to improve himself as well. So I would say that this car is his alter ego. This car defines Mandip, and probably Mandip is also something that defines the car.
This car was manufactured in 1973, and my brother is also 1973. So 1973 has got great significance in my life. So when I drive this car, it makes me feel that it's a brotherhood thing, that my brother is with me, I'm being protected by him, because if it wasn't for him, this car would not be here. He was the one who actually fought with my dad, argued with everyone, found the car for me, and there must be a reason why this car was made in 1973. Each time when I'm in this car and I'm alone, I'm driving anywhere, I know I'm protected by him.